It's an honor to be in service today at my own alma mater. So I'm going to tell you how to build a social enterprise today, but before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about my own story. As a child, instead of growing up wanting to become a firefighter or a police officer or even an athlete, I dreamed of being Bilbo and rescuing dwarfs from spiders. Or Odysseus, who helped the Greeks win a war with his Trojan horse idea. I thought how cool it would be if aliens ate my homework, or if I had magic powers to scare away mean principals like Matilda. Every day growing up, in order to avoid going home, I would spend evenings reading in the public library. I was fascinated with heroic fictional protagonists who experience rites of passage on their journey to changing the world. For me, reading was an escape from normal life. One day, the librarian told me, with a library card, you can take many books home. This is my Husky card, but. So I'll never forget, I brought so many books home and started to read them, but my mom was tripping on her drug of choice and burned the books in our bathtub. My mom actually went to Columbia University, but had mental health problems and was always hot and cold. My dad went to college as well and went on to develop medicines that sold for millions of dollars, but he was never around. So one time my dad called social services on my mother when he found out she was being abusive and neglectful, so I was placed into foster care. My dad told me my aunt was going to adopt me, so I stood up in court and asked the judge to become a ward of the court. Before my adoption proceedings were finalized, my aunt contracted cancer and passed away abruptly. This started me on a path to foster care. Before my first foster mom said that she would adopt me, but before she adopted me, she ended up passing away from cancer. After a few months of being shuffled around in the foster care system, I started to lose hope. I didn't really care about my future or education. I aced New York State's math and reading test, but it didn't matter. People were dying. One day, my social worker brought me into the agency and said, the woman who would soon become my first foster mom said, "Do you want to come live with me in upstate New York?" And I said it was either the group home or upstate New York, so I decided to go live in upstate New York. I'll never forget in my early teenage years, I gave my parents a ton of grief. One time I told my mom, when she was chastising me for something stupid I had done, "Send me to the group home. I don't care." And she told me, "Sit your little ass down. You're not going anywhere." Instead of giving up on me, my parents showered me with love and eventually adopted me. So I stopped being a jerk, I mellowed out, and tried my best not to disappoint them. I learned how to code, participated in private pilots lessons, and started to participate in student government. I graduated in the top 5% of my high school graduating class, where I was commanding officer, the highest ranking cadet in my junior ROTC unit. Hillary Clinton nominated me to the Air Force Academy, but I followed my heart and a girl to college in Boston. So while at Northeastern, I actually wanted to become an attorney. So I interned at the City Year, which was founded by 2 Harvard Law grads, and I interned at the White House under President Obama. But the experience that changed my career trajectory was studying under Massachusetts Supreme Court Chief Justice Roderick Ireland, who, with his permission, I was able to sit in on cases at the Boston Juvenile Court. There I witnessed many heart-wrenching care and protection, adoption, and foster care cases that yanked at my heart. Later, I mentored a foster kid and helped him go from getting C's and D's to getting A's and B's. These experiences led me to wanting to learn more about the foster care system, and what I learned shocked me. Only 50% of foster kids will graduate from high school. Less than 3% will graduate from college. 66% will end up homeless, in jail, or dead within 1 year turning 18. So that means that 50% of us in this room, if 100 of us in this room were foster children, 50% of us should not have graduated from college or wouldn't have graduated from college. Only 3 of us should have graduated from high school. Only 3 of us should graduate from college. And most of us should be homeless, in jail, or dead by the time we turned 19. That's insane to think about. And I knew I had to do something about it. But I had an offer on the table to go work at a prestigious consultancy, and my parents wanted me to head to law school. I thought in 3 years' time, so many kids are going to fall through the cracks, and I wanted to do something now. I wanted to systematically transform the foster care system. So I declined the offer, deferred law school, and started Foster Skills, a social enterprise in the business of helping foster kids to beat the odds. We do this by teaching kids soft and hard life skills, advocating on their behalf, and creating awareness about issues facing kids in care. To date, we've helped 500 plus kids. We've put on 100 how-tos like how to build resiliency, how to find housing. We've advocated successfully for 3 bills to change the foster care system. And we've also highlighted 20 successful foster kids who are doing amazing work after leaving the foster care system to provide examples to youth who don't have examples. This was, as a result of building momentum and participating in student groups in college and volunteering a lot and having some awesome mentors and access to C-level executives, I was able to build and gather supporters who helped me. My parents helped, my friends helped. Now we have Fortune 100 executives who support us, politicians, and we also have 47 volunteers, some of which who worked at Credit Suisse, 6 staffers who are extremely talented, 24 board members who are just very wise. And they all supported me because they believe that every child should have a chance in this world. So now that Foster Skills has become this reputable social venture, everybody thinks that I'm this fearless superhero, but I'm scared of spiders. I'm not. So starting off, I had no idea how to create a social venture, or create a social venture that captured the impact that I wanted to see in the world, captured the impact that I wanted to see. So what I did was I studied the ventures of many successful social entrepreneurs like Jacqueline Novogratzi, Adam Braun, and Sal Khan. I captured a recipe. I saw patterns along the way and captured a recipe that underlined their success. And So I captured the patterns and developed the recipe, the BIB methodology, which I've used to develop my own social enterprise. So before I explain to you what BIB is, I'm going to tell you what a social enterprise is. And the definition varies from source to source, but my definition is a social enterprise is a for-purpose business, a for-profit, nonprofit, that wants to tackle a social, environmental, or human justice issue in the world today. So let's jump back into BIB. BIB means business, impact, brand. So business is what business are you in and why. So let's say you have this genius idea to start a social enterprise that helps puppies, but you hate dogs. Would that make sense? No. Why wouldn't you just take them to the ASPCA? So if there's a social or environmental or human justice problem that has affected you or someone you love, or goes against your core values, and you want to use entrepreneurship to bring it to life, you need to do your homework. And I'm not talking profit margins and spreadsheets. You need to research what companies are doing in your space in order to find out what they're doing already, because you don't want to take away resources from existing organizations that are doing some great work, and you want to use your time wisely. So let's jump into impact. Impact means what value are you creating and for who? Imagine if you called a firefighter, called the fire department and said, "My house is on fire, we need help." And they said, "We'll be there in 3 hours." What would be their impact? They wouldn't be firefighters, but rather a cleanup crew. When starting a social enterprise, you want to make sure that you're solving problems. What are you doing that's going to benefit people, and is it effective? Anecdotes and qualitative information is great, but you also want some numbers. Like firefighters, you want to say that you rescued 50 people, not just 1. So brand. Brand is who supports you, and are they credible? Your brand is not just your logo, or it's who you are, it's your network. You need more than your mom's good word in order to get your social enterprise started. You need social capital. And if you're to build a successful social enterprise, you need people with credibility who are going to go to bat for you. Sal Khan developed Khan Academy, and we all know it. We see the Bank of America commercials. But the reason why he gained traction was because Bill Gates stood up in front of in a conference and started talking about him at this conference, and then people started researching and supporting him. So you need credible supporters who are going to champion your cause with you. So let's repeat that over. You need business, impact, and brand in order to develop a social enterprise, especially to launch a successful social enterprise. If you use the BID methodology, you'll be able to win hearts and minds of potential donors and supporters. I know how hard it is to raise funding. So I started a scholarship fund with my friends. We spearheaded the scholarship fund to help people who have ideas and want to bring them to life by using entrepreneurship at Northeastern, called the MMX Scholarship Fund. But with a little bit of imagination, some courage, and the BID methodology, you can bring your idea to life and change the world. Thank you.